Ever wondered what are the key differences between VUG versus VTI? Today, we dive into two popular options: VUG vs VTI. Let's set the scene with the Vanguard Growth ETF or VUG and the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF known as VTI. At the end, we'll also talk about a zero expense ratio alternative for VTI and an alternative to VUG that returns higher returns for the same expense ratio. But why compare VUG versus VTI? Well, let me show you. First up, let's tackle the expense ratios and compound annual growth rates, CAGR. When it comes to investing in ETFs, the expense ratio is a crucial figure. It's what you pay annually for the management of the fund. Vanguard Growth ETF, or VUG, has an expense ratio of 0.04%, slightly higher than Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF VTI, which stands at 0.03%. Though this difference might seem minuscule, over decades, even a small increase in fees can compound, potentially eating into your overall returns. I'd rather be eating steak than someone else. Now let's shift to the growth story. The compound annual growth rate measures the mean annual growth rate of an investment over a specified time period longer than 1 year. VUG boasts a CAGR of 11.29%, surpassing VTI's 9.71%. This indicates that VUG's returns have been more robust over time. They are different funds, so different strokes for different folks. Higher CAGR might seem instantly more attractive, but it's crucial to consider the associated risks and overall portfolio strategy. Investments aren't just about the gains, they're also about how much risk you're willing to take. Let's dive into the realms of volatility and risk assessment through the lens of standard deviation and maximum drawdown. Starting with standard deviation, this measure tells us about the volatility of an investment. The Vanguard Growth ETF, or VUG, has a standard deviation of 16.7%. This is slightly higher than the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF, known as VTI, which stands at 15.64%. What this means is that VUG experiences slightly more ups and downs in its portfolio value compared to VTI. Now let's talk about maximum drawdown, a crucial metric for understanding the worst-case scenario in terms of potential losses. VUG recorded a maximum drawdown of negative 47.18%, while VTI was a bit more rocked with a drawdown of negative 50.84%. These figures highlight the intense swings in portfolio value during the toughest market periods. Understanding these metrics helps in assessing whether the higher risk is worth the potential higher returns. How do we measure investment performance considering both returns and risk? Enter Sharpe and Sortino ratios. When it comes to navigating the complex world of investments, understanding risk-adjusted performance metrics is crucial. The Sharpe ratio, for instance, measures the excess return per unit of risk in an investment. In simpler terms, it tells us how much additional return you're getting for taking on extra volatility. The Vanguard Growth ETF, or VUG, boasts a Sharpe ratio of 0.64, suggesting a favorable return compared to its risk level. On the other hand, the Sortino ratio refines this idea by focusing only on downside risk, which is more relevant for most investors who are particularly concerned about potential losses. VUG scores a Sortino ratio of 0.97, indicating it has managed its downside risks well, better than the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF VTI, which has a Sortino ratio of 0.85. These ratios can guide investors towards achieving a balanced portfolio. How closely do these funds follow the market? The Vanguard Growth ETF, with a market correlation of 0.96, slightly trails the broader market movements. This could mean a tad more independence from general market swings, potentially beneficial during turbulent times. On the other hand, the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF mirrors the market precisely with a correlation of 1. This makes it a quintessential choice for those seeking a portfolio that moves in lockstep with the overall market. Throughout our discussion, we've delved into various aspects of these funds, from expense ratios to growth rates and from volatility measures to risk-adjusted returns. Each fund presents its unique strengths and considerations. Vanguard Growth ETF, favoring a higher growth potential, may appeal to those with a higher risk tolerance. Conversely, Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF offers a broader exposure, ideal for those aiming for comprehensive market representation. With this knowledge, you're better equipped to decide which fund might be the right addition to your portfolio. Interested in exploring more options? Let's look at FZROX and SCHG. FZROX, a standout due to its 0% expense ratio, mirrors the performance of VTI. making it an incredibly cost-effective choice for investors seeking broad market exposure. Why pay more for the same thing, especially when their competitor is offering it? Meanwhile, SCHG shines with a performance on par with VUG, yet it may cater to those with a different investment focus, emphasizing growth-oriented stocks. These alternatives offer unique benefits that might be the perfect fit for your investment goals. Today, we've navigated through a sea of numbers and strategies. As we wrap up, it's crucial to reflect on how this data aligns with your own investment objectives. Whether it's the robust growth potential of the Vanguard Growth ETF or the expansive market coverage of the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF, each option serves different investor needs. Delve deeper. Compare these insights with other funds like FZROX and SCHG. So here's to answering the question of why compare VUG versus VTI. In the YouTube search bar, people search the VUG vs to find different funds that they might want to investigate. So here's a playlist of all the VUG vs. From this channel, enjoy and subscribe.